Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's episode, the story follows CEO Tung as he brings Ly Tu Anh home to meet his family. At this important moment, she experiences both nervousness and emotion during her first meeting with his mother. Instead of judgment, she is welcomed with warmth and kindness. Tung's mother not only gives her blessings for the relationship, but also presents her with a precious family heirloom as a symbol of trust and connection. This is a story about love, understanding, and a beautiful new beginning. If you enjoy heartfelt and emotional love stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the next episodes. Turn on the notification bell to be the first to watch our latest stories. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. That afternoon, CEO Tung gently took Ly Tu Anh's hand and led her toward a place that held many memories from his past, his family home. The road was quiet, lined with soft green trees swaying in the breeze, as if nature itself was slowing down to witness something meaningful. Tu Anh sat beside him in the car, her eyes occasionally glancing out the window, but her thoughts were clearly somewhere deeper. She was nervous, though she tried not to show it. This was not just an ordinary visit. It was the first time she would meet his mother, the woman who meant everything in Tung's life. And more importantly, it was the moment she would be stepping into a world that could shape her future forever. Tung noticed her quietness and gently squeezed her hand. His touch was warm and steady, filled with reassurance. "Don't worry," he said softly, his voice calm and confident. "My mother is kind. She will like you." His words were simple, but they carried a weight of sincerity that made Tung breathe a little easier. Still, her heart kept beating faster than usual. She adjusted her hair slightly, smoothed the fabric of her dress, and tried to prepare herself for whatever awaited her behind that gate. As they left the main road and entered a smaller path, the atmosphere began to change. The noise of the city faded completely, replaced by the gentle sounds of nature. Birds calling in the distance, leaves rustling softly, and the faint scent of flowers carried by the wind. Ahead, a modest but elegant house slowly came into view. It was not extravagant like the buildings Tung usually worked in, but it had a deep sense of warmth and history. A well-kept garden surrounded the house, with neatly trimmed hedges and blooming flowers that seemed lovingly cared for. Everything about it felt peaceful, grounded, and sincere. Tung looked at the house and felt a strange emotion rising in her chest. It was not fear, but a mixture of admiration and emotional anticipation. She realized this place was a part of Tung's childhood, a place that had shaped the man he had become today. And now, she was about to be introduced into that sacred space. She turned to look at him, searching his face for reassurance, and found only quiet confidence and affection in his eyes. Inside the family house, the atmosphere was calm and filled with a gentle warmth that immediately softened Ly Tu Anh's nervous heart. The wooden floor creaked softly under their steps, and the scent of fresh tea and light floral fragrance lingered in the air. CEO Tung walked slightly ahead, guiding her with quiet confidence, but never letting go of her hand for too long. Every step deeper into the house felt like stepping into a part of his life she had never seen before, private, personal, and meaningful. In the living room, his mother was already waiting. She sat gracefully near a small tea table, her posture calm, her expression composed yet welcoming. Though she had lived many years and had seen much in life, There was a softness in her eyes that immediately made Tu Anh feel both respected and gently observed. As soon as she noticed them entering, a faint smile appeared on her lips. Not overly expressive, but warm enough to ease the tension in the room. Tung was the first to speak. "Mom, I brought her here," he said gently, his voice carrying both respect and certainty. The words were simple, but they carried deep meaning. Tu Anh stepped slightly forward, bowing her head politely. Her voice was soft as she greeted. "Hello, Auntie. I'm Ly Tu Anh." She tried to remain calm, but her fingers slightly tightened together in front of her, revealing her nervousness. His mother studied her quietly for a moment. It was not an uncomfortable silence, but rather a thoughtful one. She observed the way Tu Anh stood, respectful but not fearful, polite but not distant. She noticed her gentle tone, the sincerity in her eyes, and the way she occasionally glanced toward Tung, as if drawing quiet strength from him. After a few seconds, the older woman nodded slightly and gestured for them to sit. "Sit down. Don't stand there like guests," she said softly, her tone carrying a hint of warmth that immediately eased the atmosphere. Tu Anh carefully took a seat, while Tung sat beside her, still close enough that she could feel his quiet presence supporting her. The conversation began slowly, like a stream finding its natural flow. At first, it was simple questions: how they met, how long they had known each other, what Tu Anh did in her daily life. Tu Anh answered carefully, but honestly. She spoke about her work, her values, and the way she saw life. As the afternoon light slowly began to soften, golden rays filtered through the curtains and cast a warm glow across the living room. The atmosphere inside the house had already changed compared to when they first arrived. What had begun with tension and cautious curiosity had now turned into something calmer, almost intimate, like the beginning of trust quietly taking root. Ly Tu Anh no longer sat rigidly as before. Her shoulders had relaxed, and her expressions were softer, as if she had finally allowed herself to breathe freely in this unfamiliar but welcoming space. CEO Tung sat beside her, occasionally glancing at her with a quiet smile. He could see the difference in her now. The nervousness that had once lingered in her eyes had slowly been replaced by comfort, and that alone made him feel a sense of relief and gratitude. For him, this meeting was never just a formality. It was a bridge between the woman he loved and the person who had raised him. Two important worlds in his life were finally meeting, and he silently hoped they could coexist peacefully. His mother, however, seemed unusually thoughtful. She looked at Tu Anh for a long moment, not in a way that made her uncomfortable, but as if she was carefully confirming something in her heart. Then, without saying much, she slowly stood up and walked toward an old wooden cabinet placed in the corner of the room. The cabinet looked aged but well preserved, its surface carrying faint marks of time, as if it had witnessed many generations of the family's history. Tu Anh watched quietly, unsure of what was about to happen. Tung also followed his mother with his eyes, his expression becoming slightly more serious, as if he already understood what she intended to do. From inside the cabinet, his mother carefully retrieved a small wooden box. It was simple in design, yet carried an undeniable sense of importance. She held it with both hands, as though it were something deeply precious. Slowly, she returned to where Tu Anh was sitting and placed the box gently on the table in front of her. "This has been kept in our family for a long time," she said softly. Her voice was calm, but carried a depth of meaning that immediately made the room feel more serious. "It is not valuable because of its appearance, but because of the memories and responsibility it represents.